How many people have you know in your own life or through friends or family that struggle with a genetic disorder? Maybe it's diabetes, maybe it's sickle cell anemia, or even cancer caused by genetic mutation. Perhaps it's less visible, perhaps with a predisposition towards mental health disorders. If any of you have raised your hands, even mentally or physically, then you already know how powerful our genes are. They make up the building blocks for each and every single one of us, including how the body is made, how tall we are, um, how dense our muscles are, whether we're male or female. Genes and genetics has a very powerful way of, uh, it's a very powerful life force, and it makes up every single one of us. And of course, if anyone knows anything a little bit about DNA whatsoever, is that DNA, we're a mix of both our parents' DNA, thus making ourselves unique in that same fashion because we are a combination of two other sets of DNA. But there's also a lot of DNA that's passed on not just from the parents as well, but DNA passed on from the parents through the grandparents and such and so forth. Small genetic little caches that kind of stick on, and unfortunately, some of these caches can be bad code if you were to make it into like a computer reference. It is a bad line of code that causes an error within the human body, leading to diseases and things like that. As to show for my visual, I present to you these little guys here. So we'll say that these two here are two separate parents. So they have yellow and orange. And this is their child right here. Please forgive the little cut up, but you'll see why in a second. And blue and red here. Now, both parents are healthy. Both sets of parents are very healthy. However, in the blue and red here, we'll say that they have a higher chance of cancer late in life. The chance is high enough to where it's very possible in even very early stages that this child would have cancer. Over here, we'll say that they have, try to focus, sorry. We'll say that the child over here with yellow and orange already has a disease, a childhood disease. Now, with power, the reason I bring this up is that through genetic manipulation in a responsible, careful manner, just as a tool using something like CRISPR, which lets us alter the genetic makeup of these into two children right here, we will be able to take, say, this set of DNA from Mr. Green here. No, this is not me ripping up. This is just a visual of a DNA strand. Let's say extracted DNA from, or have the code from Mr. Green here. And we replace this section with this green section here. Now, with the editing here, this has effectively removed the bad DNA cache here. So this is removed from the equation. Now this child will no longer have this high probability. Now cancer, of course, is more, there's still obviously a chance of cancer still, but it removes the high probability from this specific DNA cache here. And of course, cancer can be developed through any other means, but that's things that are very hard to predict, and who knows what this child might do in their life. Now, for over here, the mental disorder, or the childhood disease here, they might have a neurological disorder. I believe it's referred to as Krabs disease. Not crabs like the other disease, but it's KRABB. It's a very horrible disease. Now, since DNA all works separately, we can take this section, and let's say that we're able to, now, we can take away this bad section, but let's say that, for example, with green here, it's incompatible for whatever reason. Maybe we'll make the situation even worse. Through DNA manipulation, we can take, say, this part of blue, for example, if it can please break apart, thank you. Take this section over here, and we slide it into this section. We will be able to take that DNA from that child, or even to that family group, putting it into here, and we have now effectively created, We've effectively now helped this child in combating that disease, that horrible Krabb's disease, allowing their neurons to be both protected and allow their mental development to continue. I hope this gives a very quick summary of how, in the right hands and the right circumstances, that genetic manipulation can be powerful. I also will apologize, I have no audience this week. Unfortunately, everyone I knew was really busy, so I had to do this as I can. But I hope you enjoyed.